What's up, y'all? It's BigCornLifePlus90. Um, like y'all to hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget, hit the like and subscribe button, y'all. Trying to get this thing up to 500 followers so I can start doing real lives, man. I'm setting my podcast up and things like that. I really didn't want to speak on all of the. I was trying to stay away from being one of those guys. There's a million of them out here that's speaking on things that's happening, but the Pooh Shiesty, the Gucci, the Big U and all that. And instead of me just giving, I'm gonna give my viewpoint on it, but I'm gonna go back a little bit, and I want y'all to understand that even the Pooh Shiesty, uh, Gucci situation, everything that's going on in the media and things like that with the hip hop and all of this stuff is all planned and it's all set up. In the 80s, I was realizing, right? My father said whenever you wanted to know what the world, which way they trying to influence people to think, he said, look at Hollywood first and then listen to the music. And in the 60s and 70s when heroin was real bad, my father explained that James Brown came out with a song, that was about heroin. I think it was called Dope or something like that. Everybody know what I'm talking about. He was rapping in the song. He was talking about being one of the baddest things on the street, taking women down, so it was they were showing people heroin is out here. Be careful, it's strong, woo woo woo. Don't, so they was leading you against that. Then they made all of the black exploitation movies, and it was about heroin dealers, pimps, things like that. I said, just follow me, man, and I'm gonna bring it all the way back around where it affects the Gucci and the Pooh Shiesty situation. Y'all gotta understand that on any given day, at any given moment, the regular citizens, I'm talking the ones that, like us, how we grew up in the urban neighborhoods, or even the Peggies and Case that live out in the urban white folk and middle class black folk that live out in the Bowie areas and places like that, or the middle class all the way up to the top. I mean, I ain't gonna say the top, but the more affluent or rich. Even some of them don't know. They just be lucky. But they're not affected by the things that we're affected by. And let me explain it to you. In the 80s, I touched on this on one of my other videos. I was raised on movies like Scarface and, Cotton Comes to Harlem and, all of that type of stuff. I mean, I was watching old movies with my father, but I was looking at all of them 60s, 70s, 80s, 70s exploitation movies, black exploitation movies. I guess that's what they call them. And I was being influenced. I didn't realize pimping was acceptable to me. When I got around dudes that I knew, like Light Bulb and Irk and all them, and dudes that pimp, Juju, all, when I seen them dudes, they didn't repulse me because they glorified it on TV. But see, then you got to understand these same Warner Brothers, all these same labels that own private prisons, y'all got to remember Black Rock, Vanguard, and Core Civic. Look at them. These people also own interests in labels and things like that. There's nothing better than creating a cycle of revenue. Now, if I can put something into your head and say, look, this is how y'all supposed to dress, I'm gonna show y'all. We used to wear not the saggy pants, but we wore baggy pants, the Versace t-shirts, maybe some shoes that match or whatever, or the DDTP in DC. We had the designer discount trading post, hobo, helping our brothers out. We are one. They made the colors that went with every kind of phone posits that came out, things like that. All of these things we dressed the way we dress, and then when rappers came out, they dressed like the street dudes. That's how it was in the 80s and 90s. You know, it took when the bling bling era came, and y'all took it from the streets when hip hop really left the streets. When And I'm gonna keep it real. The ones who was really keeping it solid and kept the glitz and glam out of it was LA. You know, when them dudes came out, New York, y'all had us stunting. I ain't mad because I came up on New York hip hop at first. I loved New York rappers, man. There wasn't nothing they could do wrong. You know what I'm saying? Up north influence from DC, we the beginning of the South. So people don't really understand. You know, we are just below the Mason Dixon line. So we are the South for real, but you know, we gravitated more, you know, to northern music and things like that. Like it wasn't no real only Southern rappers that I was influenced by back in the day was Goody Mob, Outkast, things like they was awesome, but they came a little later. When we go back to the 80s, you know, early 80s and things like that, I'm talking about I go back to Grayson and Jason, you know what I'm saying? You know, Eric Sermon and them, EPMD, you know, all of them, they you know, it was those guys, they had the Dapper Dan feel. All of them dudes was putting us on the Gucci, going up there to Dapper Dan, getting the Gucci jackets, the shoes, taking our Timberlands, our beef and broccolis up there. You know, all of these things were still influenced. We influenced the rappers or the entertainers. Now, when the bling bling era came along, anybody could rap about getting money. You know, I got my deal. I just bought me a Lambo. You know, so somewhere in there, you know, I'm gonna tell you what happened. Bill Clinton happened. You know, during the Reagan era, you know, we're gonna go all the way back. During the Reagan era and all of that, they was pushing the propaganda about cocaine. So that's when we got the movies like Scarface and King of New York and you know all of the drug movies that came out in the 80s and things like that in early 90s. You know, those was the things that they was pushing from Reagan, Bush, you know what I'm saying? But we called them George Push because all of them was drug dealing presidents. Trust me, Reagan, unreal. The Oliver North thing with don't forget Oliver North didn't do a day in jail and my man Ricky Ross did. Shout out to you, Rick. I'm gonna give you a call soon too. But anyway, yeah, man. It's just a bunch of crazy stuff, man. It's y'all gotta understand that it's all propaganda. They push those movies down into our minds, and black people run out. Boys in the Hood. Think about it. Crack. They were selling crack in that movie. There was the gang banging thing. They was trying to break California. Then they was breaking L.A. and keeping it real. Those California producers was helping them do it. You know, and it's not that it was wrong because you know the gang violence and stuff was reaching epic proportions. But always remember, the media didn't really want to stop the gang violence. They didn't care about you know the killing of blacks in the street and stuff like that. No, it was more. I'm not saying they didn't care, but what they more or less cared about is how could they monetize it. So now the only way to do it is, damn, we got all this killing going on, this drug dealing, this crack is getting out of hand. You know, how can we make money off of this and continue a cycle of it? So we're gonna recreate the plantation. You see what I'm saying? So what they did is they invited people like Russell Simmons in first. You know, and that's I'm just talking about my era. Where Andre Harrell first, then Russell Simmons and them at the same time, and then slowly but surely the Puffies and the Jay-Z's and you know, but Jay-Z, he did it to another level. He's smart. He did it the way the mafia do it. You know, Jay did it the way the mafia did it. And this is why to this day, him and 50 are two of the top smartest that I know. Because the most thorough rapper, or either, like I say, for me, that I came up under was Brad Jordan. Scarface that was it. He's the reason why I did all that time in jail. Not that it's a bad thing, because I can live with myself. But the conspiracy theory, that song changed my life. You know, all of his albums telling about, I like Face because he told the truth. He told you, yeah, you can get out there and get the money, but nigga don't believe that song. Them niggas wrong. Gangsters don't live that long. You know what I'm saying? He gave you the whole both sides of it. You know what I mean? How it feel good to get the money, but then you're going to lose some things on the way and they make you stronger. But he told you both sides of it. He told you how much time you're going to get, that your boy's going to flip on you, you know. But then the bling bling era came and they tampered all of that gangster stuff down. And then here come Baby in them. They talking a little bit of the gangster stuff, but they talking about the getting money, hitting chicks, having sex, being promiscuous, girls eating them up, just all of this stuff they push, and they don't know that they doing it. It's systemic, man. We're gonna reward you for poisoning the people. So here we go. I'm gonna bring you the plantation, my plantation theory. You got the slave master. The slave master, he owns this big plantation. And in this plantation, his crop is entertainers. So he only allow one entertainer, rapper, actor or whatever in at a time. So I'm gonna go as far as say we're gonna allow Puffy in. And we're gonna teach Puffy the most grimiest tools, how we enslave them, how we bring them in, give them $1 million, or not even $1 million, give them 100,000. Get this boy who ain't never had $10,000 legal. He ain't never had 1,000, but he ain't never had $10,000 collectively at one time that belonged to him. We're gonna give him $100,000, and we're gonna give him 100,000, and we're gonna teach him nothing. We're going to say, man, go buy you a car, go get you a house, go get your baby mother some clothes, go buy some Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Prada, go do all of that. And then for the next 3 or 4 years, while we developing you and putting your album out, everything you do, we're going to keep a ticket on it. We're going to add it up. We're going to add it up. Your studio time, your flights, your da-da-da-da-da. And then before you know it, when you drop this album in a day or two or a week, the first week you do 590, 2 weeks you do 1 million sales. You might do 1 million in your first week. You thinking you up, I'm up. But you signed a deal where, with the slave master, where you only getting 7 points. This how it was in my day, 7 points. Each one of them points ain't worth nothing but 8 cents. So, y'all know the math. Y'all should have watched the TLC or whatever them other movies was. I'm just telling y'all, I did all this stuff too. I was in the music industry, so, and trust me, I done met Tommy Mottola. We done did, me and this kid named CJ, we did a showcase. Me and Backwoods Records, when we had Backwoods Records, we did showcase for Tommy Mottola, KG down in New Jersey that had that singer Jaheim. I done been in it, so I understand, man. They bring that person in, teach them a little bit, but all he really teach you, the label gonna teach you when you sign into when they sign in a label owner like Puffy or something like that, is how to keep the other slaves in check. So they give him a little money, and then they teach him enough just to keep his other people in check, keep them poor, And then they get that money at first. They tell everybody, man, come on, man, come sign to so-and-so because they gave me 100,000, man, woo, woo, woo. That's why when you hear, it's all a bait and switch system. It's like they create the illusion for you to say, all right, boom, y'all gonna have all of this money, you're gonna be rich, you're gonna da-da-da-da-da. Then they come bring you more money up front than you ever seen in your life. But you don't know that you already built the buzz enough that, you don't even have to do that. You can do your album with the same guys that was making your music before you. Do that. Keep that original sound, man. Look at Pooh Shiesty. Look what he did. And see, the thing is, I'm not mad at Gucci and I'm not mad at Pooh Shiesty. Either way, I don't care. I don't have a horse in the race. I'm not working with the police in no way. I'm not making no statement. If that would have happened to me, then me and Pooh Shiesty would have had to see each other in the streets. That's it. And I'm just saying that's me. And the only reason why I'm saying that is, if I was Gucci and I put out this gangster, I never talk, I never do this, I never work with the police, I did what I had to do, da-da-da-da-da, and I ain't never gonna work with the police, then what are you doing? But let me explain to you. When do you grow past that point? See, Gucci came in, gangster, 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 the world, he changed the culture. He made these young niggas start robbing, killing, they doing all this stuff. Yeah, they doing that. Yeah, you pushing that narrative. But Why would a major label sign somebody like Gucci? Because they creating that cycle. They buying the prisons first. They already getting the prisons. Now they need to fill the prisons up. So they don't want the actual rapper to go to jail. They hoping he'll just be smart enough to rap this shit. Don't live it, but just rap it and put it out there to the youngsters. And they gonna go out and break the law. One rapper can reach 20, 30, 40, 100 million people. Imagine all of the black kids who gonna follow a Pooh Shiesty. All the youngers in DC, we never follow trends. We always dressed our own way. When I used to go to Vegas, they used to be like, "Man, Slim, you from DC?" I'd be like, "Yeah, how you know?" They be like, "Nah, the way y'all dress, man, y'all be having y'all pants pulled up. We ain't do no sagging and all." Now these youngers look just like everybody else. When I'm sitting around Northeast doing security or I'm around somewhere else doing this, them youngers walking in with them shiesty masks on their face. I'm not doing all of that, man, drawing no attention to myself. The police see me with a shiesty on, look like I'm about to rob somebody. I got on all black. It's just, we got lost in it, man, and we got caught up. When I went in, we really ran the streets. We was losing grasp of it, but we ran the streets. The streets had the streets. Now rappers, media, like everything. When they wanted us to go against crack, they dropped New Jack City. Oh, it's bad. These dudes coming in neighborhoods and making people smoke. I've never in my life had to make anybody smoke crack. If you got good crack, the people who smoke crack are gonna find you and they're gonna hunt you down to get it. They'll be knocking on your mother's door 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So everything that they put on TV is foolish. And this is why y'all all going to jail. Even on Power. And I know 50, I hope I know he had to give up some creative, juices to the powers that be, but I ain't never took no 15 dudes to go meet my plug, man. Why would I do that? I'm not taking nobody to go meet the plug. Why are we bringing guns to do a deal where we working together? And just so y'all know, the movies are depicting it wrong. They're making y'all do the dumbest shit. You never take money to a major drug deal. Nobody does. And it's just for one reason. Y'all miss everything. Why would I want the money and the drugs in the same place? You lose on both sides. Even if you charging me 10,000 a key, right? And I'm coming to buy 100 keys. Okay? At 10,000 a key, that's $1 million. I'm bringing you $1 million for 100 keys. Okay? That's what I'm bringing. So I'm coming in, I'm getting me 100 keys. Boom. If the feds come and hit us right then and there, why would I want to get caught with 100 keys and $1 million? Like, if you got a plug, that's what it means. You got a plug. It's current. It's coming no matter what. Even if I didn't have all of the money, the plug was going to send the work regardless because they know you good for it. You get what I'm saying? The whole thing is getting the product to the mainland. So y'all don't get the record labels and everybody, the record labels and everybody who signing these guys. Like, the reason why I say I understand Gucci and how he got caught up in the wash machine is Gucci came in with gangster this, gangster that. Gucci is responsible whether he know it or not, and I'm not blaming you, Gucci, in no bad way. I'm just telling you, you was just rapping your life, and I understand you was rapping what you was living. But you responsible for all of the dudes who followed your rhymes because like I say, during the bling bling era, the trap music came in after Puffy and them. And y'all took it from them and took off. The labels were scared of dudes like Gucci because Gucci probably really would come up in the record label's office and kick over a desk or pull a gun out on somebody. So they was real, he built his own base. And that's why Pooh Shiesty got to understand everything Gucci went through to get on. He was out there really getting follower by follower. It wasn't no followers. It was, you go buy my album. He was doing shows, probably doing 8,000 shows, $8,000 a show, 10,000 a show. He built this shit up. So when he brought you in and stamped you, it's going to cost you to come in up under that. When you sign with him, You should have paid attention to that. You should have said, all right, after the first album, and if I hit certain numbers, then your percentage of what you get from me come down. Those are the type of deals I would do. But yeah, I want to recoup, but I don't want to take half of your shit for the rest of your life. You don't deserve that. But yeah, you gonna pay for using my diving board. But see, that's not what the big label's teaching them. The big label's saying, give them their advance and make it so they never see another dollar. Listen to me, man. I'm not saying this to y'all. I'm telling y'all because I was told this by somebody that in the industry that was very big. He dealt with some of the biggest artists that you will ever know, like Michael Jackson, shit like that. So that's once you get that advance, you ain't really supposed to see another dime. But unless you become great. And then when you become great, that's when you're supposed to negotiate. Pooh Shiesty, you were becoming great, but you were just hitting a plateau. You ain't great until you selling 13 million albums like 50 did and like Andre 3000 and them did. But you was on your way, but you you pulled the trigger too fast. You know, I understand where you came from. You like, nah, man, you know, and I heard about the little big sky. I don't know what's true or not. The father said that he gave money. So I don't get involved in that. I'm just telling y'all part of a system. The record labels own the record label and the prisons. And they got this insurance policy that they putting on all of y'all young dudes, where if you go to jail, the insurance company taking the risk of you lasting throughout the contract. If you sign a 4-year, 5-year, 7-year contract, the insurance company is taking the risk that you might get killed, shot, or locked up. And you know, they taking the chance of paying the gap between what the label would have made, what they invested in you, and what they supposed to get back. So y'all just remember, y'all on the plantation, we all are. It just depends on what kind of pawn you gonna be. Jay-Z, he was let through the door. And that's why you see him and 50 going back and forth, 50 saying he trying to control. I understand what he doing. Jay playing chess, you know. He controls who get on, who not, you know. And that's how they control the world, because now they know that the media is everything. Like dudes like us ain't supposed to be talking. And I'm still not going to really talk. I'm just going to tell y'all my story. And I'm telling y'all my story because the people who was out here and the dudes who really was responsible for me going to prison was out here lying like I brought them down or like something happened to them. When they was home all this time raising their kids, and I was in jail while my kids was growing up out here for 20 years. You know what I mean? So for almost 2 decades. So yeah, I just want y'all to see that. So my take really on it is Gucci, like I say, man, he as far as being a street dude, he wrong. Like ain't no way, ain't no snap. I wouldn't have said nothing. I'm not giving him no statement, and Pooh Shiesty wrong. Because you brought all them people with you. You ain't never supposed to bring. If you and Gucci would have went in that office and you would have came up that Drake or whatever, and nobody else was in there but y'all two, then we'd have seen if it came to that. But you brought all them dudes, somebody already, them dudes start posting jewelry. Now, you know, it's like the 100 monkey syndrome. You know what I'm saying? They see what the vibe like, so they say, fuck it, let's just go ahead and rob everybody. Nah, that was dumb. What are you doing? No. But no, don't rob everybody. What? You know, y'all crazy. Y'all doing this to each other. And that's what it is. It's the house nigga syndrome down to the Gucci. You know, you had got up in that slot where you knew how to. Everybody worrying about who these record labels are fucking. I worry about, and I want to learn how they fuck so I can see it when it's coming. Pay attention. Dave Chappelle even was giving up a gem on that. Y'all worrying about who. I'm trying to pay more attention of how so I don't become one of the fucked. The labels, just know this, the labels own the same prisons that you're going to. You know, and they not going to stand up for you because they going to get paid either way. That's called hedging your bets, man. You know, and you can bet on the loss. You know what I'm saying? You can short your stock. Y'all are a hell of I'm gonna say this. Y'all are a hell of a commodity, and y'all being traded at a very, very low rate. Even if you think you getting money, first thing you do when you come home is buy 6, 7 cars, buy your mother $1 million house. Nah, man. Nah. especially if you're just gonna be doing dumb shit like this. You probably should have put this money in a GE stock or you know, something different because you're gonna need it, man. And whether y'all wanna, whether y'all like it or not, barring some miracle, like Gucci get to talk to all three people that got robbed, him and the white boy and whoever else was in there, and the security guards and all that, unless he can silence all of them, which it don't even matter now because I think they really got surveillance. I think they got everything. I think Gucci knew what was coming. I think he knew what was coming. And I think it's gonna be a little bit more to it than everybody think. But I just want y'all to think past, go, man. The system, I don't want to say too much, man. But do me a favor, man. Y'all go out and get this book. I'm gonna start a book club too, man, because y'all need to start reading. It's called Our Occulted History. It's by Jim Mars. Our Occulted History. Please, man, go get that book, man. You'll understand everything. You'll understand it from conception. How they control, how they're controlling public thinking, and how they putting things into our, how every show now, just think about it. You can't even, it's a disgrace to be a heterosexual male. I say that and people go, oh, why you got to keep saying that? Da, da, da. Because I am. It's okay for everybody to do this pronoun stuff. And, I'm old school and it's cool. I'm not holding nothing against anybody. I don't have nothing against the LBGTQ, community, but you're not going to force it on me. Every show has to have it. It crushed me. Even Power. Every show has to have it. Somebody has to be gay on it, whether it's a girl on girl, guy on guy. And it's just crazy. I grew up my whole life and we didn't have, and not saying that there's nothing wrong with it, but we didn't have anybody gay in our crew that we knew of. And even to this day, I don't know. Maybe we did and they had it. I'm not saying I don't know, but I'm just speaking on what I experienced in my life. I just want y'all don't get caught up in the system, man. Pooh, you was wrong. Gucci, you wrong. You wrong too. And I'm saying you wrong for whatever the disagreement was y'all was having. Anything could have been worked out. I mean, I understand. I see you broke down everything. You was only keeping him and Fujiano. I mean, I see what you was trying to do, but it ain't no good if you was about to do even more of the fuckery that the big labels do. I'm not saying you were. I don't know. What I'm saying is it was something that boy didn't, and I ain't saying you did, you had to do something wrong. It could have been a misunderstanding. These youngins ain't know nothing. You knew what you was dealing with when you signed them. So the making statement part, you was dead wrong. And Pooh Shiesty, you was wrong for bringing all them people. I ain't saying you was wrong for upping that jump and making them sign. Nah, I ain't saying none of that. I'ma tell you I wouldn't have did it, but I can't say you was wrong because I don't know what you felt. You see what I'm saying? I don't know what y'all went through. I don't know what was said that day before when y'all had already got into it in that club situation. I know about that too. So it's like, it's crazy. I don't know what was said. I don't even know why Gucci would still meet you and not have a better, you know, protection plan out. That's why I say I think he might have baited shorty in. I'm just saying, y'all, please see past go, man. Wake up. Corn Life Plus 90, man. Hit that like and subscribe button.